More than 15,000 scientists are sounding an alarm about climate change. They call it a warning to humanity.
This is our galaxy. It is located in an infinitely expanding and changing universe. And just like our universe, our galaxy is changing. Within our Milky Way galaxy is a solar system made up of 8 planets, all changing planets. Past the red sands of Mars is our home, Earth. Earth is the 3rd planet in our solar system, and within our Earth is thousands and thousands of species. This is our home. Global warming has been an issue for years now. In fact, some of its effects happened last year during the California wildfires. According to the Environmental Protection Agency, there are 2 causes of climate change, one man-made and one environmental. However, it depends on the balance between energy entering and leaving the planet system. Man-made can either be from the pollution of cars. Environmentally, this can happen through the greenhouse effect. However, people still tend to question whose fault it really was. So, who exactly is at fault?
The latest violent eruptions spewing fountains of lava.
Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out.
Now at least 19 fissures splitting open in residential neighborhoods. Gas so toxic, it's killing trees and grasses.
Volcanic eruptions contribute to the high levels of sulfate aerosol within our stratosphere. Winds within the stratosphere carry aerosols until our planet is practically covered with aerosol particles. When sunlight is absorbed by aerosol particles, this causes the planet to follow a warmer pattern compared to when the sunlight is reflected, and our planet follows a cooler pattern. This can explain some irregular weather patterns because sunlight can be absorbed and reflected by different particles, but simultaneously. When a volcano erupts, a gas called volcanic carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, has potential to contribute to global warming. The sulfate aerosols are also responsible for ozone depletion because the particles eat away at the protective layer. Of course, nature can reduce the amount of global warming present today, but it is only possible if we allow nature to take its course of patterns and possibly create restricted natural areas for healing our planet's stratosphere. These areas can be placed anywhere there is fertile soil, so trees and other carbon dioxide absorbing plants have potential to grow.
And this change that we're seeing now that hasn't been this way in 3 million years has all happened within the last 150 years, since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. You see it on the charts. You see when that curve starts to accelerate up, it all happens when we began burning coal, oil, and natural gas.
The significant role that man plays in furthering the effects of global warming, as discussed by the Commonwealth Parliament in their article, Human Contribution to Climate Change, written in 2016. The primary human activities that contribute to the enhancement of natural greenhouse effects are the combustion of fossil fuels, which releases greenhouse gases, the clearing of forests for agriculture, which releases carbon dioxide through increased biomass decay, as well as the deforestation, soil tillage, and land degradation, which releases carbon from the land system and reduces its capacity to absorb and store carbon. Volcanic eruptions released large quantities of CO2 in the distant past. However, the U.S. Geological Survey, the USGS, reports that human activities now emit 135 times as much CO2 as volcanoes do each year. Greenhouse gases absorb energy radiating from the Earth's surface, rather than allowing it to be directly transmitted into space, trapping the heat into the atmosphere, acting like a blanket. As described by the Environmental Protection Agency in their article, Causes of Climate Change, these greenhouse gases that are directly emitted by humans include carbon dioxide, methane, and several others. Carbon dioxide is the primary greenhouse gas that is contributing to recent climate change. Human activities currently release over 30 billion tons of CO2 into the atmosphere each year. As a result of human activities, CH4 concentrations increased sharply during most of the 20th century and are now more than 2.5 times pre-industrial levels. The increases of CO2 in the atmosphere are responsible for 80% for the overall increase in Earth's temperature. It is likely human activity is to be the dominant cause. Since the Industrial Revolution began around 1750, human activity has added a substantial amount of CO2 and other heat-trapping gases to the atmosphere. These greenhouse gas emissions have increased the greenhouse effect and caused the Earth's surface temperature to rise. The average temperature of the Earth has increased by a little more than 1 degree Fahrenheit or 0.6 degrees Celsius in the last 100 years. Because of this, summers are getting hotter, the winters are getting milder, glaciers are melting, and sea levels are rising. More storms, violent winds, and floodings are occurring. Some of the solutions they put forth are those of the following: improvements in energy efficiency and vehicle fuel economy so that less energy is produced. We also have the opportunity to reduce the gases we emit to the atmosphere. We can also increase the amount of gases that we take out of the atmosphere. Plants and trees absorb CO2 as they grow, isolating carbon naturally by increasing forest lands and making changes to the way we farm. While all these solutions will not end global warming, they are likely to minimize the effects, and taking a step in the right direction is never a bad thing.
Of nature and man, who has the most significant role in furthering the effects of global warming? It is clear now that we see this answer. Man. Human activities now emit more than 130 times as much as CO2 as volcanoes do each year. A group of 1,300 independent scientific experts from all over the country under the United Nations concluded there's more than 95% probability that human activities over the past 50 years have warmed our planet. These effects can be seen from the shrinking of our ice glaciers to the warming of temperatures throughout the years. In fact, the United States emits the most pollution, while China emits the most greenhouse gas. However, these countries are not the ones who suffer from these climate changes. It is those in the developing countries that have contributed the least to climate change, but take the deal of the consequence with them.